this episode is probably the hardest episode to actually go through physically. It's not difficult for me to explain because I understand it now, but it's literally kept me struggling to get past these vices which I've just been going into for whatever reason that I somewhat don't really understand. And it's sort of linked with the dream episode because it's sort of like it links with our creative imagination and our past experiences. And then it also it like seeps into our dreams where we get these sort of reminders of these traumas, and they're so like painful and you don't want to remember them, but they do come back. And then you're thinking like, right, well, I need to eat something, I need to comfort myself somehow. Okay. So trauma, yeah, this one is the most painful part to get through. And it does get better. It really does get better because what happens is there's just different levels that you get through. There's like, it's as if you're running through, those Japanese doors or whatever they're called, Takeshi's Castle, where you run through those doors and you break them. And sometimes they might not break. And so you have to choose another door. And every door that you get past is like a level of strength that you attain. You've passed that trauma, and so now it's so much weaker. It's no longer it's something that you've run through before and you know which door to go through. So that's how this trauma works, is that we go through these levels. And you'll find this when you're quitting weed, when you're on semen retention, when you are quitting any of your vices like nicotine. You'll really come across these difficult traumas, man. And when you come across them, you'll have to sort of accept them and surrender, as the way that Buddhism is around meditation is surrendering to life. And that's basically what happens with these traumas, is that you sort of surrender to them. You don't react. You just let it come to you, and then you get over it through subconscious sort of pruning, if that makes sense. Like getting rid of the weeds. You're like subconsciously sort of accepting and understanding and getting over it, using it as leverage, stepping on top of that trauma and saying, I am bigger than this. It is a struggle, man. I've probably had like at least 5 to 10 traumas that I've had to just get through. And for me, that was girls and friends. Those were the two which I had traumas that I couldn't get past. This part of the semen retention was those situations with girls that didn't work out. I'd be like, why did I act that way, or what the fuck, I'm obviously unable to get girls or something, which is just silly. And so that's something which I had to get over and be like, actually, I'm not this animal that has sex all the time. In that sense, I'm actually having to control my character and I don't want to say prudent, but develop it into someone who is actually more myself, as opposed to this fantasy sort of ideology. And then another one was with friends, man. That was especially with weed, bro. I just have this social sort of discontent with society and with the way that people aren't very intelligent or something. And that really just came from just accepts a bit of solitude and a bit of maybe a bit of loneliness, so that I can actually sort of understand that there's levels to this and people aren't on our level. We're in a different league, and people who only want to stay in a league because they only want to be fighting against lower leagues, that's their choice. And if they're trying to bring you down, then you have to really disconnect from that energy and really understand your potential. So getting over these traumas really changes you as a person, and they will come. And when you get over them, there was one, there's this, for the semen retention, that took me like 5 days of depression. Like I was in this strange, I'd been doing so well, and for 5 days after like the past month, I was unable to think that there was anything good about anything I've done in the past month. And it just completely links to the past however many years as well, because that was all like the same feeling. It was the same feeling that I've had before, but after this month of doing well, I had that for 5 days straight. And getting over that though, I went to bed, hopes that tomorrow would be better. It got a bit better, then it got worse again, and then I went to bed the next night, and then I woke up and things started like actually moving uphill again. Really, that's the type of trauma. It's difficult, man. But when you're over that, holy shit, bro. Fuck, I'm strong, man. I'm literally, everything is going so much better now. But going through that trauma is difficult, but it's like relief. It's like the weights that you're just putting below your shoulders, you just lift them off, and suddenly you're like, holy shit, now I can lift more weights, and whether that's, accomplishing what you've always wanted to accomplish, or just dealing with, just accepting success as opposed to sort of accepting this failure that you maybe, as I said, just like keeping under your shoulders, and it's just dead weight. So yeah, let's fucking live the best life that we're talking about and keep being a boss, consistent, never-ending improvement. Come on, you know it.